Hello, everybody. Happy Monday night. Tonight, I'm here to talk to you about stinky shoes. 3 tips to save your souls. So this is episode 1 of Things Parents Wonder. So my name is Stephanie Pipke-Paintshow. I am so happy to be here tonight to talk to you about things I never thought I would talk about on Facebook. So drop me a comment if you have ever had to deal with stinky shoes. But actually wait. I don't want you to have to incriminate yourself and say that you have stinky shoes. So let me rephrase the question for you. Have you ever had to deal with stinky shoes in your house? Have you ever come into a room and wondered what that smell is? And it turns out to be an innocent looking little pair of shoes. They might even be pretty colored shoes. They might be sparkly shoes. They might be comfy shoes. But let's not even talk about the smell. So let me know in the comments if you can relate to having something like that in your house or ever having come across that. So let's talk about, why do the shoes smell like that? But then when I was preparing this, I thought maybe people don't actually want to know that. As a former biology teacher, I can tell you probably don't want to know what's making the shoes smell. And it's getting late, so I want to get right to the tips. So let's talk about 3 tips to save your souls. So I read a few different articles tonight, and these are a few quick tips for you. One article said, get new shoes. So let me know if you've used the get new shoes solution. I think it's always a good day to get new shoes. I love shoes. Tekla, if you're watching, I know you love shoes. So one article said, buy the new shoes. My husband said, why don't you just wash the shoes? So have you ever put your shoes in the washing machine? And maybe that works for running shoes or maybe some types of comfy shoes, but I don't think you're supposed to wash leather shoes or other things like that. The other article said maybe some deodorizer in them, but really they said that just covers up the smell, which isn't helpful at all. So 3 practical tips for eliminating that stinky smell in shoes that are likely not your own because your feet probably don't smell at all. So hopefully I'm at least making you smile tonight. Tip number 1 is, in all seriousness, is dry your shoes out. The more moisture that your shoes have, the more bacteria can grow, and the more bacteria that grow, the more smell that you get. So one of the tips, the easiest tip, is to actually make sure your shoes are dry. So add them over a register vent, although I'm not sure if that will help to not make your house smell. So put the shoes somewhere that they can actually dry out. Tip number 2 is actually baking soda with essential oil, and you put that inside your shoes, you leave it overnight, or you leave it for a few days, and that actually will help to reduce the smell. Now, don't tell me, Stephanie, you told me to put the baking soda in my shoes and now my shoes are a mess and there's powder all over. Don't put the baking soda directly into your shoes. Put it inside a coffee filter, tie that up, or put some nice essential oil in it. I'm sure somebody knows a favorite essential oil that will help with that. Tie it up and put it inside the shoes. That will help over time to eliminate the odor. And if that doesn't work, tip number 3 of the night is put the shoes on ice. That's what it said. It said, put your shoes in the freezer. Now, the bio teacher in me says there's a lot of bacteria and other germs on the bottom of your shoes, so don't just put your shoes in the freezer. Put them inside a Ziploc bag or something so they don't touch anything and spread the rest of the bacteria and other things around. So there's different bacteria on the bottom of the shoes. That's a whole other story and a whole other live. But we're talking about the smell. When you put the shoes in the freezer, the low temperatures will actually freeze the odor-causing bacteria, and that in turn should eliminate the smell. Now, let me tell you, there's a couple things. We live in Saskatchewan, so right now you could just put your shoes outside overnight, and that will help to eliminate the smell. Or it's too bad we missed the -50 weather from a few weeks ago in Saskatchewan. That would have for sure killed the smell in your shoes. The other thing about outside is the sunshine. So a bonus tip for you is sunshine is good for that, but we don't have a lot of that in Saskatchewan right now. Maybe let me know, are you watching from somewhere that actually has sunshine so you could put your shoes outside in the sun? Or are you still hoping that spring will come soon and eventually we'll have some above 0 temperatures? So let me know where you're watching from. I do have one funny little story for you tonight about putting things in the freezer. It doesn't have to do with shoes. I haven't tried those tricks yet, so I'm curious if you've tried some of those, if they're effective. The other thing is my daughter made these delicious Oreo cheesecake balls. So she did them up, she set them in the freezer. It was summertime. We went out, we picked lots of fresh garden dill. We bagged it up in Ziploc bags, put it in the freezer so it's ready to use in the winter. Then we went to have the lovely Oreo cheesecake balls. They had a slight dill scent or taste to them. It was an interesting take on an Oreo cheesecake. So I would recommend you don't put your shoes in a Ziploc bag beside your desserts or anything that you're going to eat. That's just common sense free tip for tonight. So let me know if any of those tips are helpful, or at least if I made you smile tonight. There are several other tips that I came across, even a little recipe. Yes, a recipe for how to keep your shoes from smelling more or make them smell better. So if you are a parent or a person that lives in the house with shoes, or a person that lives in a house with shoes that maybe sometimes smell a little bit, and you would love some tips, send me a message. I will be more than happy to send you the links to the articles that I came across tonight, so you don't have to do that. So that is episode 1 of Things Parents Wonder and Things I Never Thought I'd Talk About on Facebook. Have a great night, everybody.